They know them. They know those people who have been terrorizing our female ladies and our male guys, the vulnerable ones, and at any least opportunity.
Yeah, it's me again. I mean, I already told you my noise out on some honeymoon and something like that. So we just take it from there. Anyway, welcome back to our channel. My name is decarlogh, officially called Vincent decarlogh Kweku, and people call me decarlogh GH. That's basically what I have gotten for myself, but it's actually cool. This is a propaganda report where we talk about anything politics. I mean, campus-based. We are not going into, governmental politics and something like that. We're just going to talk about campus politics. And once again, we have in our studio an aspirant for the SRC position. That portfolio has a lot of, controversies around it, but we are going to dissect some of them. We are not going to talk about most of it because, we really don't have time for that. But hopefully, if, our guest is able to mount that position, we would bring him back on board and discuss a few things about the SRC portfolio. My name remains decarlogh GH, your favorite campus celebrity. I mean, people like that name a lot. I'll just introduce my guest and then we take it from there. Barrister Kwaba.
Yes, yeah.
And who's somewhere do you? I mean, 50. Yeah, some of us, yeah. So we. Okay, Barrister, I've been seeing your flights around. Okay. No joke about that. This is the first time we're actually having a conversation.
Yes.
I mean, Dangote said a lot about you, yeah? But personally, it's my first time having an encounter with you.
Oh.
And I would like to know the personality behind the name Barrister.
Oh.
Who is Barrister? What is his name? What is his actual name?
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm Latif Lawrence Johove, but have been nicknamed Barrister for a long time now. So most students affectionately know me to be Barrister. Yes, but the nickname I pegged because I had passion to read law at a time in my life. And so I wanted to be reminded of the fact that I had an uncompleted job, even if at any time I found myself, I should know that I need to read law at a point. I think we're on that journey.
So by that time, I would take it as if you are reading law.
Yes, I'm currently a law student.
Wow. It brings back memories. I mean, from last 2 years election.
Yes.
We had law students competing.
Yes.
And, well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that later. So, Barrister, where did you start school? I mean, where did you come from? Give us an introduction about yourself.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I started KG way back in 2000.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. But I was somewhere in Takoradi. I did KG1, KG2 there. Then we relocated to Ahanta West.
Still in Takoradi.
Yeah. I was in Kadajuni. We came back to Kadajuni, close I think Takwa. And I think that's the Takwa and Sayem district.
Yeah.
And then I stood from I think P1, just P1, and my dad relocated me to one Grell Preparatory, Ghana Rubber Estate Limited school. That was rather in Hunter West. Okay. And that was at Tibu, on your way to Axim.
Yeah.
So I did from primary 1 to primary 4, first semester there, first term.
Yeah.
There.
I'm in university.
Yes.
So it's cool.
I left there and I came to Techimine and I was in Chromo Presby. There was a school called Chromo Presby Primary B. I was there for the P4 second term. And I left and I came to my hometown. That was Jeffrey in the Sisala West District of the Upper West region. And I did P4 third term and I wrote my BEC there and proceeded to Nandom Senior High School. Left there in 2015, came to University of Cape Coast. I left there in 2014, Came to University of Cape Coast in 2015, reading Bachelor of Education Accounting and left in 2019. During that time, I was Public Relations Officer of this very SRC.
You're the PRO of SRC.
Yes.
I mean the whole or the whole?
The SRC. You might have heard that was the 50C SRC. That was the Sir John at that time. Sir John.
Yes, Sir John led administration.
Yes, I had run the previous year for PRO. I lost.
And
And
you came
I
again.
ran again for the second time.
Long story short, when you fail, don't stop. Just come back again. You win.
Left school in 2019, did my service, and my nickname Barrister kept reminding me that I needed to
Come
be on
back
my
for
journey.
law.
Yes. So I came back to Faculty of Law in 2021 as a postgraduate LLB student, and I've been with them since then. And now I feel that with the barrel of problems facing the student front and with the knowledge and learning on the job, it's time that we gave our services to the student front. A reason I decided to run for president.
I actually appreciate that. And when going to school, finishing, coming back to read law because of your nickname, it's to some extent some inspiration. I'm actually wondering, some of you with those weird nicknames, what does it remind you of? Anyway, so Barrister, this portfolio you're going for, SRC presidency, is the most contested.
Yeah.
And there are disappointments.
Yes.
I mean, people go in with the aim of winning.
Yeah.
And they are left, I don't want to use the term, but they are left with their trousers hanging, that way. And then they come back and then they be like, Charlie. I mean, what do you think is the reason why people actually would love to contest for the UCC SRC presidential portfolio?
Well, thank you. Everyone has various reasons they run for president. And some run for president honestly because of the fame that comes with it. Others run for president because maybe I have a certain position now. I am on the pedigree to run for president. And some also run for president because they think that they have the potentials in order to help contribute to the student front. And so there are various reasons. Some are very personal. You might not really get to know, but you might really get to know the reasons informing the person's decision to run for president from the manner in which the person even carries himself or herself during the campaign, the message the person is sending, and his or her focus. And because sometimes when you see the person focusing on the very needs that affect or the very problems that affect the student front, then you can know maybe the person is really concerned. There are people who unfortunately run for president and they are just interested in discrediting their other opponents. Because when you ask me, I don't think SRC presidential race is who gets to win and who gets to lose. It's not a do or die affair. And necessarily must not be SRC president. It is about the 25,000 student front that we are looking at. In the long run, it should be about who can get the job done. And it's not a contest, and I've always said it, the contest does not end when the elections are held and someone is declared winner. That is not the end of the race. In fact, that is where the journey begins. And I don't even feel that it is necessary to jubilate when you win. Because it looks like that has ended the whole thing. You jubilate when after your tenure, and people could tell you that, Barrister, when you came, you served us well. That is where the jubilation would be. Then you can take some rest and say, wow, I am glad that when I came, I was able to contribute to the student front, the advocacy and other things. But it shouldn't be about who necessarily wins. And so the hands of people are tied to, they must support a certain candidate because we find ourselves in the same caucus with him. Whether the person can do the work, the person cannot do the work, we don't care. The person must win at all costs. I don't think it is like that. And if I don't get the opportunity to sell, but I think that I will be glad I had the opportunity to contribute to the discussion and the discourse on how the student front should be led. And I believe that inherently, I have what it takes to be able to contribute to the student front. So the reasons we all run for president are different.
Yeah, but you see, you made mention of the fact that people might think they actually can run for presidency, they actually can contribute.
Yes.
But they think it's not really they can do it. Sometimes people have the feeling. And we have people who actually don't want to run, but they can actually do it. We have those who would like to run and run very well. But for the sake of the rules we have in our regulation book, you have to be at a particular CGPA.
Yeah.
And for the sake of that particular rule, it disqualifies a lot of people who have great minds to help the SRC get to a particular point. What do you think about that? Do you think there should be an amendment to that constitution?
Thank you. I don't think there should be an amendment to that provision. We came here primarily to be students. Our main aim here is to acquire education. And so any other thing, education student, when I was reading education, they will tell you it's a latent function and not a manifest function. The manifest function for us in school is to get educated and get our certificates and get groomed for the outside world. Positions and other things are just latent that comes, or they are what do you call it, and peripherals that join. You see, the responsibilities that come with leadership are so enormous. And just imagine when you are graduating and they tell you that your SRC president could not graduate because he did not even get up to 1.5 or 1.0. Like, it's a bit embarrassing, right? It looks like the main reason the person came to school has not been fulfilled. And believe you, trust you me, running for office is very consuming, time consuming. You don't get time to, you literally cannot do what your other colleagues who are not running for office are doing. I have to skip a lot of times that I should have used to revise my notes, talking to students and letting them understand what has formed my decision, what has informed my decision to run for president. So you literally will not be doing so well. So I think that there should be a benchmark. It is everywhere. It might look discriminatory, but I think it's a positive discrimination, because even President of Ghana, people who are 30 years can really do a good job, but we say that it should be 40 years. There are reasons like that. Even voting, there are people who are 50 years, but they cannot make sound judgment, but they're allowed to vote. And there are students or people who are, let's say, 15, 14, who can really make informed decisions, but we say they cannot be allowed to vote. Some of them, they are open to conversations and debate, but I think 2.5 is fair enough as a requirement for people who want to run for offices.
But you see, you made mention of the fact that people, if you don't fall within that range and you complete school and it's like your SRC presidency completed with 1. No, which will not happen. I mean, no SRC president is going to finish with 1.5 or something like
possible.
That. It's possible, but it will not happen. I mean, in the name of Jesus. But you see, like you said, the primary reason for coming to school has not been achieved. But how do you know that is the primary reason for that person coming to school? I mean, people come to school to connect. People come to school to make friends. People come to school to pass examination, to get certificates for their grandmothers, their mothers, their fathers. People come to school just for coming sake because my friends are coming.
Yes.
People come to school because they can add up to the number.
Exactly.
Because they can leave home and make some money from their parents.
Yeah.
There are lots of reasons. That's basically the primary reason. The CGPA, the certificate, some people, it doesn't really bother them. Whether they get it or not, they are just here to make some connection, get out there into the business field and know, I know this person. If I go here, I'll make it. So don't you think, looking at it from that angle too, it's actually a little bit some way?
Well, there are reasons we all come to the university. Mm-hmm. That is true. But there is a reason the university admits you to the university. And so you cannot have your reasons overshadow the reasons why the university admitted you. There is no other reason beyond the fact that the university admitted you to equip you with knowledge so that you can contribute to society. There must be a minimum standard to keep everybody afloat. And that is why you are not prevented from what do you call it, making friends and doing and taking other things. But we must agree that there must be a minimum where we can know, because if we allow that, it means that some people will say that, well, I am here to make friends. My father can get me a job. I don't really need what we call it. So I need not to attend lectures. If I fail, it really doesn't matter. But the university care about these things because they admitted you primarily because they want you to have some minimum level of education. So take it or leave it. You might have your reasons for being in the university, but you cannot rule out the fact that you came here for academic reason, number one. And that is the number one reason why the university equally admitted you. So that's why you have 1 point something, you are allowed to be in the school. 1.0, you are still allowed to be in the school.
To refix yourself.
Yes. Yeah. So you are not necessarily supposed to be 3.8, 3.9. Everybody have their CGPA. But then, should we give the people opportunity? Because if you give somebody 1 point, somebody who was a CGPA of 1.0 to run for office, trust me, there is no way the person is going to leave the school without sinking. Because if without any other responsibility, you are just having 1.0, 1.5, and other responsibilities are added on, you don't get time to read. You literally will sink, all other things being equal. And so we need you to be at a certain level so that even when you are falling, you don't fall too much that will affect the fundamental reason why you applied to the university and the fundamental reason why the university gave you admission. So I think that it should be the case that people should have that 2.5. Maybe we can argue whether it's too much or it's too little, but I think 2.5 should be a minimum being.
All right. So you're an affiliate of Ogwaho.
Yes, I'm a monkey.
He's a monkey, yeah. So I'm tempted to ask, why not contest for Ogwaho presidency?
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Because you've already served in the SRC, something like back then.
Yes,
you were the PRO.
Yeah,
so why don't you be the president of Ogwaho?
Yes, thank you. Without disrespect, I think if I get opportunity to serve as president of Ogwaho, that's okay. And that will be an honor to serve the very hall that I've been a member for the past 7 years now. I think that we all have some level of dreams. And I think that I need to reach out to a larger, my influence, if I want to have the opportunity, should affect a larger group of people.
Okay.
And having had that understanding and learning on the SRC, I think most of the fundamental problems that face our student front can better be fixed by the SRC. The JCRC has a very limited scope in getting some of these things fixed. The JCRC is not represented on the University Council, and the decisions that affect all of us, including the JCRCs, are taken by the University Council. And the JCRC that has a representation on the University Governing Council. And so, because the reasons informing my decision to run for president goes beyond just a few class of people, then I think that we need to look at which platform will give you that maximum effect. Okay. And that will be the SRC.
And do you think that's the only reason you're running for? Because it's asserted that, the SRC presidential portfolio, that not only the presidency, but any position within the SRC rich, right? Talking of the treasurer, the president, the secretary, every other position actually is backed by some money.
Oh, that is why I say some people run for office for some reasons. And I remember when we left office, so I remember there was one executive that came after us and he asked me that, Barrister, that's as I understand they pay you people. I said, it's not true. Then it's like, he asked me, they pay you. I said, yes, we are giving 200 CDs monthly.
That was that time?
Yes, that is that time.
So
even till
today,
like
500 CDs.
Till today, for my in Paris, it's still the 200 CDs.
Okay.
Monthly for communication allowance, and I think something. It's just from 2 companies. They was like, no, I'm not talking about the allowance. I'm talking about the salary. I told him that it was not a salary job. He thought I was deceiving him. He got to win. And one day he called me. I was like, so Barrister, it's true that you were telling me that there is no money attached to it. So for him, for that executive, probably the reason for me his decision to run for office was that he thought there was some money there. Let me be honest with you. When I left the SRC, my graduation fee was paid by Dr. Letitia Bosu of my department. She was the one I called. I took her as a mom. I called her and I told her, Mom, I didn't even have money. That was 370 cities. But I didn't even have that money to register to pay for my graduation. She was the one who sent me 400 and I paid. My first licensure exams, because I did education, I couldn't write the licensure exams in September because I didn't have money. Most of my colleagues wrote, but I had to start national service, got some money, and wrote my licensure exams in 2020, I think in May. So if there was really money, I should have had money to be able to do some of these things.
What if the money was actually in your reach, within your reach? It could have been the money, because the position you were serving, PRO, is actually far from the SRC presidency. Yes. The money could have been up there, above the ladder, and you're not reaching.
Well.
Money in the bank, you just can't reach. See, that's basically how it is now.
I remember when people have their own ways of making money.
Okay.
And when we were in office, there were times that we had opportunity to see certain budgets that we were so terrified that what exactly were these monies used for, right? And you wonder what exactly was the notion or the reason behind these spendings. Look, let me tell you a story. When we came in, you remember that during our time, this shuttle we were boarding used to be free.
Yeah.
Yes. the shuttle used to be free. It used to be Metro Mass that ran the shuttle. When we came in, Metro Mass was charging the student fund about 1,500 and 500 plus for daily runnings. We wanted to have a new company that was ready to provide the same service at even a longer duration, because Metro Mass used to stop at 6 p.m. at that time. By that time, African study classes used to end at 8:30. It used to be 5:30 to 8:30. And most of them, when they finish, they will have to work. They got attacked on the way back home because they needed to work. We needed them to extend the service to 9 p.m. so that when they close, they can get the opportunity to board the shuttle back home. Metro Mass said they were not interested. We had a company that was ready to run from 6 to 9, and they were ready to even charge us at 900 cedis. Look, there were discussions about the fact that, oh, you see, now that you've given us this contract, there's supposed to be some, kickback, that 10% thing, because you are giving us a contract that's worth billions of cedis, and that we needed to give them some 10% back. Why? Because they had quoted that they had those services with some other people, and that was the norm. We rejected that offer. And I can tell you on record that if you are able to have an access to the HM Boafo company, you can ask the manager that at that time, that offer was made. We had that offer coming from some quarters that we needed to, but Sir John at that time told them that, look, if we take it back from you and you don't do the job well, we cannot insist, because it looks like my hand is in your mouth. And you know that something will come to me later on. But if I don't take anything from you and you don't do the job well, I can insist and tell you that, look, we agreed on 9 p.m. If it's not 9 p.m., you cannot close. But when I take the kickback and you close at 8, I cannot talk, because, there is something behind. And that is on record. There have been times that we budget, for example. We budget for certain things, and when you compare it to the budget for same things in previous years, and you could see a huge gap. And you could see like about 70% cut. Sometimes even if there is no cut, up to 50% for the same activity that was done the previous year or the previous years was being done at less than 50% at our time. So yes, there are times that those for other things like certain allowances and things, those things are normal. You get it? And we have a limit. The Constitution places a limit that you can only have a maximum of paid certain allowances in each semester. And that's for the Executive Council. And meaning that you will have just 6 paid certain allowances. And I think I remember that time, it used to be 90 cedis per certain. Let me say it was 100 cedis, and they took a tax of 10 cedis or so, so it was 90 cedis. So even if it's 90 cedis times 3 certain, that is just 270 cedis. Times 2 semesters, that's just 540 cedis. Is that not it?
It's not just. It's
yes,
money.
Yes, but look, the monies that people will tell you that are being poured on the soil and being buried in the name of campaign is mind-boggling. It's so enormous. And you wouldn't believe that people running for office of SRC president are spending colossal sums of money in excess of 40,000 to 50,000.
Oh yeah, I've actually seen something like that. Yeah, it's happening.
And that is the worry, that when you have students who you are running for office and people are pouring money on the streets, you should be concerned, because somebody will not bury 50,000 cedis in the soil, and the person will try some way to recoup. There are some of us who have the school of thought that even when you spend in running for office, the benefits that come, not financially. Look, there are always benefits that are associated.
Oh yeah. I mean, you meet a lot.
I get to meet a lot of people, and so that is enough for me. And the fact that that is enough for me, and the fact that when you serve them well, look, there are a lot of students here whose parents are very connected. One day you might just sit in front of one of their parents for a job, and maybe in the house, maybe the dad will come and say, "There's this guy who came for interview," and maybe it's like, "Who is that?" He mentions, "Oh, that guy. Oh, he was ICC president. That guy did so well. That guy did so well." In case you are not even within their contemplation to pick you, maybe because of some other things, and maybe academic performance, because some other filed with first class and other things. But just because of that recommendation, it can change the entire decision, and you will land a job that you never thought of. Maybe you might have been the one they have selected now, and the persons that will come in and say, "Oh, we just recruited this guy for our topmost position." Which guy? This guy. never pick this guy.
Scar with you.
He was in our school, company, corrupt. And look, there is no amount of convincing you will use to convince this person again. Somebody has seen you say before and he has just said that, Udiska. And you get to meet a lot of top people. You get to meet ministers, you get to meet government officials, you get to meet stakeholders in the nation because of that platform. So you are able to, even maybe beyond that, get something that for your life and your afterlife, and that kind of recognition is contributing to society.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually, I'm enjoying the story, but I'll just, for the sake of time, we'll just dive into the political aspects of your agenda, right?
Yes.
Let's look at the personal politics, right?
Okay.
Right now, you're contesting with 3 strong opponents.
Yes.
3 really strong opponents.
Very true.
And surprisingly, your time is when 2 people are actually coming back. It's like, you're coming back. You were in the SRC position. You went off and you're coming back.
Yes.
For presidential position.
Exactly.
And we have the advocate. They came last year.
Yes.
They went, and then they're coming back again.
Exactly.
The likes of the advocates coming back. We have a very strong opponent like the Casford guy, dependable.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, when you look at these names coming out, we have the current president for Adeshi. Inside, we have the current vice president for Casford. In the competition, we have the current president for superannuation. In the competition, we have these big names. And personally, I feel this is like a little bit intimidating. Don't you?
Well, I don't feel intimidated at all. And, that is not to say that they are big wigs. And they are the reasons why, you see, when you're running for office, when you have people like that also running for the same office, it helps in shaping your ideologies. It helps in letting you know that all is not well. You have to keep talking to people and keep sending your message to people, because in the long run, it is who is on the side of the majority.
Okay.
And we cannot always tell. You see, sometimes there is complacency when you are running for office and it looks like you are the only big name in the game. And so you feel like whatever come with me, you win. And so sometimes when it happens like that, aspirants end up taking electorates for granted, because it looks like what come with me, I will win the elections. But when you are running and you know that there are very big forces like them who are equally running for the same office, then it gives you a reason to always be on the lookout and be talking to people each and every time.
So have you realized any shortcomings of the previous SRC presidential, those we had, SRC president, the past, during your time,
Okay.
the recent presidents? Have you seen any shortcoming in their administrations that you would like to actually fix when you come?
Okay, well, they have all done their best, and
of course,
you cannot solve all the problems in just a day. And even if I'm given the opportunity, I will be a big liar if I say that I'll fix all the problems in this SRC.
So what specific problems would you actually target?
Oh, the specific problems would include the diaspora security. Mm-hmm. Because it has been an SK in his State of SRC address admitted the fact that the jurisdiction of the security of the University of Cape Coast does not extend beyond the university borders. And so it means that students in the diaspora, which are not within the university catchment area, are on their own, to be in quotes. But should we still leave them in the hands of these miscreants in society? I don't think so. When we were executives of the SRC in 2018, 2019, we were on record to be the SRC that had the Amamuma, what do we call it? We had a watch security group that consisted of the Safohene of Amamuma community. We spoke to the Kwapro chief and that of Kwesipra and what do you call it? Apeuska. What happened was that we had volunteers from the community that came together to volunteer and assist us in weeding out some of these miscreants. And the people who live with the criminals know them. And you'll be so surprised when we started having meetings with them, they could just pick hand and point to that Akwa they are very bad. They know them. They know those people who have been terrorizing our female ladies and our male guys, the vulnerable ones, and at any least opportunity. But when we had them on board, look, they themselves can talk with them, then you tally. You know that they have that conversation. You
Okay.
see, and
Okay.
they're able to sometimes when there's someone who could just call the SRC president that look, I have picked information that there are some guys coming from Kaswa, there are some guys coming from Takrady. It's surprising to know that most of these things that go on are not really by the indigents, but they just have facilitators. But the real crime dealers come from outside.
Okay, so in case you have no idea about this State of the SRC address, the part where SK actually talked about the security of the students in the diaspora, producer will actually put it on screen for you to watch. I mean, we'll get back to the discussion.
And then again, we've had issues, the all-time issue with diaspora security. And we know that jurisdiction of our campus security do not extend to the diaspora. But every now and then, in our quest and bid to ensure in the works of our diaspora security, in the person of Nana Sefa, we have contributed. But still, we have the impediment of security in the diaspora.
So, I mean, that was actually a very short one, though. But I feel like SK mentioned another thing that we should actually take, into consideration. That is the hiking of hostel prices. And to you, how do you think the SRC can actually help to solve? Because he made mention that there are things actually on the way. They are talking to people that when they come back to us, they will know the way forward. But there's a point where he's actually leaving power. He had only 1 year and he couldn't tackle. I mean, you can't do everything, but at least we felt like he could have actually tried.
Okay. So on the issue of hostel hikes, look, it's just economics 101. It's an issue of demand versus supply. Look, I have always maintained that students don't take interest in necessarily going to stay in the inner part of Kapro and other things. Always look at the statistics of students who always want to stay in the hall when we are moving to the next level. A lot of protocols and people wanting to stay in the hall. It's also one thing that if we had more halls, more university accommodation, they will absorb most of these students. And then when they absorb most of these students into the university halls, which would by far cost less, right? You would have less people chasing the many hostels in the diaspora.
Do you know the price of superannuation a room?
Well, I think that of superannuation is a thing to discuss, because I personally don't think that it should really cost that much to stay in superannuation. But on the other side, it means a room here costs like 8,000.
Yeah, of course.
Literally, even though they don't pay for
like 4 in a room.
Yeah, 4 in a room.
6 in a room.
Each person pay 2,000 for 4 in a room. But other traditional halls like SRC Hall, Uguam, and Castle,
we have 800 cities.
You have 840 cities to be in this. We can deliberately build more of these affordable accommodations on campus. There are opportunities to have build, operate, and transfer. That's the BOT agreements. I think that if the university itself does not have the funding to commit, then the SRC, together with the student forum, you see, we can ask them, put these things before them. I would always favor an opportunity to have a build and operate transfer policy with university management and maybe people who are interested in doing that. They come in, they build, let's say it's a 5,000 capacity hostel or a 10,000 capacity hostel, and then they operate. You see, we in that regard, because it's a university something, we can have that discussion with them, whereby prices will not necessarily look like that of superannuation. Even if we need to probably take out certain facilities so that we can have a moderate cost and a moderate standard of accommodation, then it will absorb a lot of people. Then you wouldn't have a lot of people chasing for hostels in the diaspora. And look, if we're able to have a 10,000 capacity hostel on campus, you'll be surprised the rate at which prices will fall in the diaspora. But today, because I've always said that, look, let's face the reality. The best we can do is to maybe speak on the humanitarian part and say, look, these are all our kids. Let's see how we can best resolve the problem and maybe lower the prices. But he has built his hostel on his own land. It's a private facility. I'm saying you pay 10,000 cedis. If you don't pay, I have no force.
But according to Ghana Tourism Authority, these hostels do not qualify to be hostels. They are just houses. Well, and then, yes, and when you go to rent control, they have this book that actually lists the number of hostels and stuff. I mean, last year we had the chance to talk to some of them, but I mean, that's a conversation for another day. I'm not going to bore you with that, but I'm actually looking forward to seeing you work towards this hostel prices. Should you win the election,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see what you do. At least the steps you would take to, help our students to get actually a very accommodating something. Like the prices should be on the minimum.
Yeah.
I'm looking for it because it looks like you have the men. Yeah,
we need to invest. We need to invest in building our own accommodation. If we cannot have the money from internal, we should rely on people from outside who are ready to build for us accommodations that will not cost that much.
All right. So I think I'll go back there with Yanapa. I would have loved to, continue this conversation, but for the sake of time, for the sake of your data, we are not going to, we're not going to extend it. So I'm actually, the stories are actually interesting and intriguing, right? Yeah. I would love to spend time with you next time if we are able to get you on board. I mean, producer would actually take care of that, so we don't have any problem with that. Anyway, dear viewers and listeners, you see, at this point, I don't really want to talk about hostel prices and any other thing again, but he has said enough, right? I'm just going to give him the opportunity to talk to you guys, to tell you why he should be the choice, why you shouldn't vote for his opponent, but him. You get it? So I'm just going to give you the platform. I think producer is already sending the camera to you, so we're just going to give you the platform to, sell yourself to them. All right.
Okay, thank you. So, dear student, I'm not going to tell you why you shouldn't vote for my opponents. I am going to tell you why you should vote for Barrister, because I don't do politics of why you shouldn't vote for some other candidates, because I know you are an objective person that will make that objective decision. But I tell you that I have had the opportunity to learn on the SRC. I have had the opportunity to solve a lot of barrage of problems that face this same student front. And I tell you that it is high time that the poor student who gets GMPC scholarship of say 10,000 cedis, and the university says the scholarship has not been paid, so that student should go and borrow money and come and pay his school fees, so that when the scholarship pays the money, the person will come for refund. The person borrows money and pay the 10,000 cedis as school fees. When GMPC pays the 10,000 cedis and the person is applying for refund to settle the debts, the same university takes 10%, that is a whooping 1,000 cedis for refund. I do not think this is right. You cannot deduct just 1,000 cedis from my own money when you had earlier told me that you cannot credit my account for the fact that I'm a scholarship beneficiary, but I have to borrow and pay. Even if the university should charge something, it should be a 1%. Colleagues, let me finalize this. We live in a university where what we call food staples cost a lot. Rice, Indomie, and other things cost a lot. But can the SRC do something about it? I tell you yes. I have the intention of establishing what we call the SRC shop. This is what the SRC shop does. The SRC has the money we can buy these food staples like the rice, the oil, the Indomie, and establish an SRC shop. We are not interested in making profit. We don't, then the money, maybe if Cindy rice costs 50 cedis in the market, we may sell it to you at 40 cedis, because we will just buy in bulk and sell them to others. You can save the 10 cedis for some other things.
I haven't seen
and I think that it will really help. So I want to call on all of you, especially the students who write receipts. In level 100, we are allowed to write receipts. In level 400, we are allowed to write receipts. But the university tells you and I that when you are level 200 and you fail a course, you should wait. When you enter level 300, then you add those courses that you have failed in level 200 to your level 300 courses. If the university, and retake and go for lectures and write quizzes, if the university feels that it is logically right and academically okay for students in level 100 to write receipt and level 400 to write receipt, we should be able to give the opportunity to level 200s and 300s to also write receipt when they fail their courses, because it is academically troubling and it is a huge burden on students to have to retake an entire course and go through lectures and others. Give them the opportunity to receipt so that they can focus on that course, read, write, and pass, and move to the next level. Colleagues, this is serious business. We cannot leave the decision as to who gets to be the next SRC president on mere hall affiliations, on mere church affiliations, on mere political affiliations. When it comes to the question of who leads the 25,000 students, I've always told you, it's serious business. We should be interested in getting who can get the job done and not who you are necessarily affiliated to. Because in the long run, when you elect who you are affiliated to and the person cannot solve your own problem, you are the same person who will be in your hostel complaining to yourself and the problems keep reoccurring. I give you one philosophy, that we are the team that believes in the philosophy of building the people's SRC. It's the reason I asked you to vote number 1 on the day of elections. Thank you.
No, I'm not rooting. No, I'm not. I'm not rooting for him. But that's actually impressive. Yeah. So you spoke about something and it drew my attention back to something. Before I close this show, let me just ask one question. Do you think it's a nice idea to have our voting system in our portals?
No.
Because
it's open to hacks. And
but then these portals are, they're ours. I think, let me just put this out there. Having voting structures in our portals and then people moving from the diaspora to our halls to vote, which would you prefer? When people will be given the access to accept or decline
to vote.
Yeah.
You see, I am not into IT, but my IT experts tell me that it is easy. Internet is prone to hacks than intranet. So when you have computers set to communicate with themselves within this small space, it is difficult to penetrate. Look, even US had issues with the 2016 elections, where they have consistently blamed Russia for meddling in their electronic process of voting. I have always favored technology, and we should find a way where voting can be easy. But we cannot create convenience and ease of access to vote for fairness and credibility.
But that means people in the diaspora might not be able to vote.
Yes, everything comes with its own pros and cons. Imagine we roll an internet where everybody can vote, but in the long run, somebody is somewhere who has hijacked the whole entire system.
No, not in that sense. What we read online was that the system is going to be made in a way that before you even get there to vote, you'll be given a notification to accept that. Before you vote, you do a lot of processing and stuff. So that processing is going to be done from the portal. So you accept or decline. So if you don't accept, it means you've not been there. Last year we had instances where students come to vote, they come to Casford, they come to Adeshi, they come to the Ugwa, the hall. I was there last year when people came in and they were like, I haven't voted, but they said I voted.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering, wouldn't that be a nice step to have the person actually accept it before the day of the election or before they actually come there to cast their votes?
Well, that's fine. I think voter turnout could always be, when we roll out portal voting, there will be a huge jump in the voter turnout. Mm-hmm. But I think that sometimes it is we, the aspirant, who can entice people to come out and vote. Wow. When you meet a diasporian and you give him a reason why you should be the next SRC president because of himself or herself, the person on the day of election will say, look, I owe this guy the responsibility of going to cast my vote for him.
All right. My mom is also, I don't talk anything again. But I think I'm not going to say much. He has already advertised himself. It's up to you to vote. If we have the chance to communicate with the other aspirants, we would actually listen to them, have their views, and then we would actually be left to judge. On the D-Day, he says, vote number 1. Vote for Barrister because he's the people's choice, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the people's choice. So he's come to actually work for you. According to him, I'm not choosing sides. I'm just conveying all the message, right? I'm just conveying messages. Anyway, my name remains decarlogh, and you guys already call me campus celebrity. You know how it goes. When you see me, you can just wave me. I'll give you a shout out or something like that. But don't forget to subscribe. If you watch this video till this point, what are you waiting for? Please, don't spoil the business. Barrister has actually told you what you should do. We work together as a team. You subscribe, we give you content. You enjoy, you like, you share, people join. And then we are a happy family. Barrister, thank you for coming.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
That's always cool. Yeah.
All right.
So I'll see you next time. I think Mano will be coming next week. So he will just be around to hold, some of the shows. Anyways, lovely viewers, this is where we are going to end the propaganda report. I'll see you next time. And make sure you subscribe, share this video for other students, and vote for the right person. That's all I have to say. I'm signing out. My name is decarlogh. Producer, thank you for that music. That's actually cool. Thank you.
All right.